Welcome to Game Soup. Today we're playing Crosscode. My name's Ed.
My name's Joe.
Funny story about this game. We recorded the footage last week, but we lost our audio. That's a good story. I'll tell it again later. So we're doing it in post today. And I'm all too happy to do so. I've really enjoyed this game. I want to say first off, thanks to Radical Fish Games for giving us a copy of this game to review.
And thanks to Atlessa on our Discord server for hooking us up.
Oh yeah, speaking of,
That's how we got the code.
We have a Discord and a Patreon, and we're going to plug them. Check them out. They're in the description. The description of the video.
And if you're a patron on Patreon, then you can get a really cool orange-colored name on Discord. So if you're interested in that, check that out.
Orange is the best color. So what is Crosscode? Well, it's been in early access for 2 years, since May of 2015. I remember looking at this game, seeing it during the Indiegogo campaign, the 30-day fundraising campaign, and I was into it, man. I was definitely into it. So I'm glad to see that so much progress has been made, and it's looking really good. And I've played a lot of it so far. When we recorded this last week, I think I put about, I don't know, 2 hours into it, and since then I've put a bunch more. It's really enjoyable. So it's a top-down, like Zelda-style action game, sort of like Link to the Past. You know, it's that kind of top-down. There's quests and some great combat, which I think we'll get into here in a second. But of course, this is all post, and we recorded this last week, so who knows?
Yeah, if we have time at the end, we might also do some live recording.
Yeah.
A live recording of either another dungeon or just another area, because we did spend a lot of time in this area right here, actually, what you're seeing right now during the recording. So we might skip ahead a little bit, but we'll talk about this for now.
So we're jumping right into the action here. The game has a pretty comprehensive tutorial in the beginning. There's about, I don't know, 45 minutes or an hour's worth of tutorial teaching you the basics of the game. Because it has some interesting mechanics. It's got the sort of a twin stick shooter-esque mechanic where you aim with like this. That's the one where you can aim in any direction, and it's useful for combat. You can also use it for puzzles involving blocks, switches, and there are a lot of puzzles. It's got dungeons just like Zelda. It's got the overworld and then the dungeon sort of duality of Zelda games, you know.
Yeah, our character is the blue-haired character here.
Yeah.
The other one's like a helper character.
Yeah, he's a party member. So it gives me a lot of vibes from, like I said, Zelda, and also Chrono Trigger. I think mainly because of the art, and also that the enemies are displayed on screen. But the combat, of course, is real-time. It's not turn-based. And it's a hard game. It's a hard game because you can't just spam your way through everything, which is what I normally like to do in RPGs. Turns out you can't do that.
I definitely appreciate the gameplay being more action-oriented, even though there's still plenty of RPG systems involved, and there's quests, and so if you're into like Ed was saying, like old Zelda games and more with a more modern RPG, with more modern RPG elements like quest systems and the leveling system and everything. So pretty good map.
I'm gonna make a bold prediction and say that this is gonna be, when this game releases, which, I don't know, it should be in the near future, it's going to be the game of the year, at least for me. It's going to be the indie charm game of the I don't know, decade maybe? It's going to be a big thing, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I think this is going to be one of the big indie games of whatever year it comes out. Hopefully 2017, but we'll see.
One of those very, very successful, very well received, you know, not kickstarted, but crowd-funded games. So now we're in the town. The town in this game is massive. Oh yeah, this game is massive. You know, on their website, they say that it takes about 8 to 10 hours to beat the game, to complete the story. Complete lie. Fabrication. I spent 2 hours just running around town, so there's no way it could take anybody, unless you're speedrunning the game, you know?
Yeah, usually when a developer tells a time of how long it takes to beat their game, it's usually overestimated. It's usually, if you do all the side quests and you really spend a lot of time maximizing all your items and weapons and skills, then maybe the game will take 80 hours. They'll say it takes 80 hours, but if you're a guy like me and you just want to see the story and play through it and enjoy some strategy, then maybe it'll take you 35 or 40 hours. That's the way they used to do it with all the old JRPGs. On the back of the box, it would say 80 hours of gameplay, but it would usually be half or less.
For sure. But here, they completely, in my opinion, they completely underestimated it. And I would expect to get at least 40 hours out of it. I mean, just for the main adventure. And there's so many there's a ridiculous amount of quests so far that I've done.
And there's the marketplace in this. It's not just one guy or a few characters. It's like every character in the marketplace has only a couple of things. So it makes the game look a lot bigger that way.
And there's also these crafting materials that are like sort of tiered on top of each other. Like it takes 2 of this to make 1 of this, and then it takes 1 of this to make another 1 of these. So it's like you start with the easiest to get materials, and then you get progressively more expensive and
it's sort of like gem crafting in Diablo, right?
Oh yeah, I guess so. Yeah, in a way.
Many systems like that. Instead of just the gem system, you've got a lot of different kinds of items that you can combine.
So I like that a lot, actually. It's different than a traditional RPG where you're just straight up spending money to buy upgrades at one store. I mean, you can still do that occasionally, but most of the time you're gonna find it's to your benefit to do all this crafting. It's really extensive, really extensive.
Yeah, that kind of stuff kind of drives me nuts. The really over-complicated crafting systems, particularly if it's in a shorter game. With a game like this or an MMO, then I kind of appreciate it in that case, because you're going to be spending a lot of time in the game. So the amount of time that you spend crafting and min-maxing or trying to get the best gear, I guess, through crafting is going to be more worthwhile because you're going to get to use it for a lot longer. But if it's a shorter 6 to 10 hour game, then I prefer for the especially crafting systems, because those tend to be some of the more complex systems in games. I prefer for those things to be simplified, and especially in a shorter game, you probably don't even want to put in a crafting system. Maybe like a skill or leveling system, something that the player can grasp within an hour or two. Because if the game's only 6 hours, you don't want the whole game to be a tutorial, and then you get a really powerful character, and at the end it doesn't really, you don't get to use that really powerful character for very long.
Right.
That you spent a lot of time crafting and developing.
Yeah, this game is setting up a lot of stuff. I mean, I think they're on version, 0.95 or something, but they've been setting up a lot of stuff the first hour of the game, or even the first 2 hours, really. There's a lot of systems to learn. They really ease you in. It's really well done. I appreciate that a lot. It never feels overwhelming.
We're testing out the dashing system here. If you just hold the dash button, you block. If you're holding a direction and you tap the dash button, you dash. If you are holding a direction and you hold the dash button, then you will dash and then immediately put a shield up after the dash. So that's pretty neat.
Yeah.
The way that it works. It feels good.
Yeah, it does.
I haven't played another game that works exactly like that, but it works pretty well.
And you get 3 consecutive dashes before you have to. There's like a small cooldown.
It's kind of like Hyper Light Drifter in that way.
Yeah. I think there are iframes as well during the dash, but they're either. I think they're just very, very short, because I almost always seem to take damage even when I'm dashing around something. But that brings us to, hopefully we'll get into this point, into this part of the video at some point soon. There's an upgrade system which we haven't even seen yet. And that's just one of the many systems the game has going for it. So that enemy was really, really easy, because I've already been through this area.
Yeah, I was actually playing during this part. We were just kind of showing the overworld and how the shops work, and we were playing on Ed's file. So. Yeah.
So like we're way OP. I ran around this area for, like I said, 2 hours, I think.
Oh, I tried to hit that player character. Those are, well, they're not actually real players, but it's sort of to simulate like an MMO.
Yeah, the idea is that all of this is an MMO. So our actual character, the actual character that's playing this Leah, this blue-haired girl that we are, is a human somewhere else. And all the action in this game takes place inside a video game. Kind of meta.
Yeah, sort of like, I guess Dot Hack is like an old one, or Sword Art Online. It's a more modern example, I guess.
So if you were an appropriate level for these enemies, maybe you were in equal level, what would happen is, if you just tried to spam your attacks, they would murder you. So usually what you have to do is wait for them to present an opening to you, either by, like, you can shoot from far distance, or you can wait for them to attack and then counterattack, and they'll usually give you a hint as to what to do. Like, there are these cows, or I guess they're bulls. There are these bull enemies that charge you, and if you can get them to charge into one of the walls, around here you could do it probably, then they flash red, and that's when they're most vulnerable. But other than that, you're going to have a really tough time actually hurting anything.
Should we skip ahead and try and find one of those?
I don't remember if we fought one.
I'm pretty sure we did. I think we fought a couple of them.
All right.
I kind of remember.
So here's one of those animals that we were just talking about. This bull animal. And you'll notice if you attack him from the front, you do 0 damage.
Right. You can see our helper doing damage from the back. But our party member, so I should call it the proper name. So there's a little bit of strategy. This might be the first bull that I fought, so we'll probably do a pretty bad job here. But you can see that the enemies have different kinds of attack patterns, different kinds of weaknesses. So it keeps it interesting.
Yes, you don't always have a second party member here, but occasionally you can invite them to your party. And of course you split experience, and I guess the monsters are a little bit harder that way. But you have a huge advantage. Especially for enemies like this where you have to attack them from behind, but you can't do that because you're just one person. So that's kind of nice.
Oh, I tried to flank him there, but...
Yeah. They usually turn to face you. Oh, you died, yeah.
He saw through my trickery.
So, I don't know about you, but I died a lot. I can't remember how much footage we did last week where one of us died, but as you can see, there's no penalty for game over. You just restart at the beginning of the area, you know? So it's very generous, very lenient.
Is it the same way in dungeons too?
Yeah. Yeah. So, and that's actually pretty crucial for a game like this. It does a lot to... It doesn't make you feel so vulnerable. It doesn't make you feel like you're going to lose progress. You know, like if you die, you don't restart at your last save. Which I think is good, because a game like this that has puzzles and...
Yeah, you don't want to be redoing puzzles, especially if you already know the solution to it. The fulfillment and fun that you've gotten out of that puzzle is gone once you've solved it using your own brain.
And also the combat, I think every player is going to have a slightly different level of skill in the combat, so there's going to be some natural spikes and valleys in the difficulty. And you don't want to be sort of ambushed by a pretty difficult fight only to have to go back to your last save. That would be crazy, you know? So it does autosave. And you can save any time as long as you're not in combat as well. But I really enjoy the combat. I think that is... Well, there are a ton of things about this game I enjoy, but that's one of the highlights, I think. Like I said, you can't just spam attacks and expect to win. You actually have to take a step back and think about it, and you gotta be quick on your feet, too. There's a lot of, like, this enemy who's rolling towards us. They'll chase you, and they will wreck you if you're not diligent about escaping, you know?
Yeah, and in this whole area, the enemies are not aggro, so it's kind of reminiscent of MMOs in that way. Because this is an early area, so you actually have to attack the enemies first, and then they'll engage. But if you just leave them alone, you could just run through all these areas if you just want to get from point A to point B.
And actually, I don't know if we pulled up the map in this area or not, but this area is it's really like the first area in the game where you actually have freedom to run around, kill guys, and, you know, hunt for treasure and stuff like that. This area is giant. It's like, I don't know, 15 plus screens, I guess? 15 plus rooms? And this is just the overworld, this is not a dungeon or anything. And it's just jam-packed. And there's treasures just hidden all around the place, and tons of really interesting enemy encounters. And, you know, because it's all, you know, none of it's randomized. The enemies are in specific locations. It's all handcrafted, I guess. It presents some interesting opportunities and lets you try out different strategies. Okay, so here we are at the, yeah.
Level up.
Yeah, I think...
We just gotta level up.
Okay, so I think we're gonna, yeah. So the circuits system is the progression system in the game. You can see there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things in the game. There's obviously the whole quests menu. I think we're gonna go to circuits here. Oh god, there's so many quests. Yeah, some of these I still haven't completed a week later. Some of them are also not implemented.
Yeah, there's some NPCs that'll tell you can't go to a certain place because that part of the game hasn't been developed enough to release yet.
So here's the progression system. You start in the center here, and you can kind of tell that around that diamond, it looks like there's going to be other stuff. And you would be right. And if you're wondering what this actually is, I think we'll zoom in right here. Yeah, each of these is like a node, either a passive or an active ability node. And they all cost CP, which you get when you level up. So what's really nice, though, is that there are these two branches, like there's this Azure Strike, and then directly above it there's another branch. You can completely freely swap between those, doesn't cost anything. So you can change your special abilities. Azure Strike it's called a dash or an attack art. Your art abilities, and you can freely swap between those depending on whatever enemy you're currently facing. If you want to try to make it a little bit easier for yourself. And then there are of course the passive, like HP plus X%, attack plus X%.
Right.
A couple of these are really useful though. And there's quite a few of them that are more than just like stat buffs. Some of them do really interesting things like reduce the time it takes to aim properly. And then you can see over there on the left we have all the traditional I guess RPG stats, HP, attack, defense, and then focus I think counts for crits and iframes during dashing and a couple other things.
Yeah, we just checked out the equipment too.
Oh my god, yeah.
The equipment, I like that they kept it fairly simple. There's only 5 slots, so it's not like Diablo level of difficulty, but there are still a lot of systems in the game.
Okay, this is our party member that we were just playing with. He's not an actual person, by the way. That's just an NPC that I think actually, yeah, he's part of the main story. So he comes and goes as the story progresses. Yeah, we have data here for all the modifiers and all the data there on the left, like the stats. So the game pretty much explains everything to you. You're not wondering like, oh, what does attack actually do? And again, an encyclopedia for all the characters and all the story events so far. This game is massive. This game feels like it's been lived in. It has a really well-developed lore.
Yeah, if you're into lore, if you're into systems and crafting, if you're into action RPGs,
yeah,
it's kind of got a little bit of everything.
Yeah, and I think it takes all of those things and does it better than any other game I've seen.
Wow.
Yeah, it might be, especially now the more I play it. I said this last week, this game, more than any other game I've ever played, has a very potent sense of adventure. I've never played a game that has immersed me so deeply and has had me exploring because I was curious to see what else there was. And also stats. Because look at all these stats. Number of times Leah said hi. Here is a random number for you. Total number of stats in this menu.
Yeah, there's a lot of different menus for the stats.
Yeah, this is crazy.
You can't even fit it on one screen.
I love it. So this is a completionist's dream game. Especially because there's treasures basically hidden all over the world. And the only way to get them is to... We didn't even talk about the jumping yet, but the only way to get to them is to carefully puzzle out a path. You sort of work backwards from the treasure to another platform that you can jump from, and then a platform that you can jump from to get to that one, and then eventually you'll find your way over to the treasure. And I think we'll show that at some point.
The platforming is almost like Golden Sun, isn't it? I was just remembering... Like platforming in that, I think it's got automatic jumping in that too. It's a little more rigid in that, but
yeah,
this has auto. It's sort of, I guess, like Ocarina.
Yeah, more like the 3D Zelda games.
Yeah.
In that, as soon as you approach a ledge, if you're going at full speed, then you'll jump at full speed, which is nice. So there's no jump button. The only button that you're really dealing with is there's the melee attack button and then the ranged attack button. So you're not worried about jumping, like doing a perfect jump. It's all automatically jumping, So you can see all these raised platforms here. I actually don't know where this path starts, but somewhere in this area there's a way to get up there. And then you can just jump around this entire area and explore, and I'm sure there's stuff up there that I haven't gotten yet. Alright, so we're coming up on some of the jumping puzzles, and by the way, here's the map for this area. This is the first area in the game, really, where you have, autonomy. You can see it's gigantic.
Rookie Harbor, that was the town we were in.
Right. And that as well is pretty big. And when I say, like, the town is, I don't know what, I guess 2 screens wide, I don't just mean a single 1920 by 1080 screen or whatever. It's these scrolling screens. 2 of them, and they're gigantic.
Yeah, maybe rooms would be a better word.
Yeah, rooms. Yeah, I think that's a more appropriate term. So we're going to make our way back here after we've checked out the map, and there's some jumping going on here, because this is probably the highlight of the game for me. The way the jumping works, as you can see, it's automatic. So you're thinking, how do I get over there? And then the answer is you just jump across, and it's really easy. And it looks really cool, because it looks like it should be hard, but it's just automatic. But a lot of the challenge comes in judging whether you can successfully make a jump, Judging...
Right, it's going to give you the optimal jump as long as you're moving at top speed, which usually you are.
And like trying to puzzle out a way towards Like if you have a platform that you want to get to, there's almost always a way to puzzle out how to get there. Sometimes it's like on the same screen. There's a platform you can jump up on and then jump across a couple others to get there. Sometimes you have to go on a different screen and come back a different way. So it's extremely detailed. It's kind of like you've got this ground level that we're standing on now, and then one level above us is like the first floor, the second floor, and they just keep going. And each of those floors is kind of its own contained level design in a lot of ways. And of course they interact at points. You can jump down to a lower area to access a certain, I don't know, like a secret area or something. But it's it's piling levels on top of levels on top of levels. And I think later on, once we start playing live, I think we'll try to show some of that.
Start.
All right, so we jumped forward a little bit just past the exploration. We did a lot of exploring in that area, and this is the next part in the story. It's really minor spoilers. This character has challenged us to a duel, PvP duel, so we are going to attempt to kill him. I think it's best 5 of 9. And at this point, if this is your first time playing the game, you might be comfortable with the controls, but he's gonna wreck you. And he wrecked me. This character is also the same class as us. It's called a Spheromancer. And all that means is we use our ranged projectile attack. That's what makes us a Spheromancer. There are a couple other classes in the game. They're not playable. This is I guess, this is a fixed story where you play this character specifically. It's just part of the world building and the plot,
Anytime you're dealing with multiple classes, it makes the game that much harder to balance. Because now you have to balance not just for one move set, one skill set of a character, but now you have to build the game to be playable with many play styles.
So he pretty much dodges everything, and he'll come in for a bunch of quick hits, and he's gonna wreck me. Long story short, I think I got 1 or 2. I won 1 or 2 matches, but it's a hard fight, and you don't have to win it. Whether you win or lose, it's kind of... Oh, did you see there when he was flashing red? That's when enemies are vulnerable. You'll see that kind of thing. It's usually when they finish their attacks. So your best bet is usually to dodge out of the way with dashing and then retaliate as soon as you have a chance. But
I'm sure that I do that really well here.
Well, it's easier said than done, that's for sure. Especially in a game like this. This is a game that demands good reflexes, because things will happen very quickly, especially when there's 4+ enemies sort of ganging up on you. So that's where the part of the situational awareness comes in as well. You can always run away or retreat to a certain area to help you fight. Except for here, of course, when you're locked into this box.
Yeah, well, we agreed to it.
Yeah, it is optional. So anyway, long story short, he wrecks us. But, who's gonna beat a computer? Nobody. Can computers beat people in chess?
Yeah.
Is the world's best chess player a computer yet?
Yeah.
It is, right?
Yeah.
I figured. Because a computer could beat me at Connect 4, I bet.
I don't think there's a computer that can play Go as well, though, as a human being.
I heard that. I heard that Go is one of the unsolvable games still. Or yet to be solved. Not necessarily unsolvable.
It's probably solvable. We probably just haven't put in the resources to develop a machine that can do it better than a human yet.
It's probably one of those things that takes like hundreds and hundreds of, or maybe even thousands of years of constant calculation by a computer to solve the game, because there's probably like the exponent on how many different kind of plays and moves there are. It's probably like
it's bigger than chess.
Yeah, it's like 10 to the 100 different moves you can do, or something like that. It could be ridiculous. What's encryption now? It's 256 characters, right? Like WEP 256.
Oh, we're gonna embarrass ourselves if we try to talk about.
We are.
I would
WPA.
definitely embarrass myself if I try to talk about cryptography.
Well, anyway, modern cryptography. Yeah, modern encoding cryptography. 256 characters just can't be broken by any computer in any reasonable amount of time. It would take like 10,000 years to break an encrypted password, using one of the more modern systems. So for all intents and purposes, it's impossible. Anyway, this guy is gonna wreck us. I think I said that a lot.
It's more exciting to play this, I think, than to watch it.
It is much more exciting to play it than to watch it.
So we got 2 wins, and he's got 4 wins here. So all he's got to do is kill us here.
Yeah, you feel like you're fighting for your life in this game, especially during moments like this. Because like I said, the combat is not so easy. You can't just spam anything. So it has a lot of weight, you know? And you get infinite tries, of course, but you definitely feel like you're improving. Because you really don't have any choice. Alright, let's jump forward a little bit, huh? This is a new area. This is after the last area that we were in. Looks fairly similar. So far in the game, after we recorded this, I got to a snowy zone where there was some ice on the ground. You know, everybody loves ice physics.
Is there ice physics?
There is ice physics, yeah. So, not my favorite thing in the world, but okay. Oh yeah, and this. Yeah, really early on in the game, you get the ability to track all the plants that you've destroyed. And it tracks, this game tracks everything. So all these plants are just found all around this area called Autumn's Rise, and now we're on Bergen Trail, and there's a whole new set of plants. And, you know, you destroy X amount of this plant, and it tells you what it will drop, what it could possibly drop, what the rates are for those drops. It's basically like, yeah, it's an encyclopedia, you know? So especially if you're, again, the kind of person that enjoys item hunting or crafting materials and, like, trying to figure out where to get items and craft the super, like a super weapon or super armor. This is the game for you.
If you're into keeping track of the plants that you've encountered,
it sounds
if you're really into botany, this might be the game for you.
And it sounds so boring, I know, but it's really not, because it happens.
Botany code.
Botany code. Botany code?
Yeah. Cross code.
Botany code. Because it happens so naturally, because you're just running along this path like we are right now, and you'll encounter these enemies, and you'll fight them, and then during the fight, you'll see those 2 plants down there, and you'll say, oh, I better whack those, and then you whack them, and you go back to fighting. You know, it's completely integrated to the core gameplay loop, which in this area specifically is you run around, you jump a little bit, you jump on some stuff, you jump a little bit higher, you talk to some guys, and then you smash some bad guys, you know?
It is fun.
It is insanely fun.
To smash and break, to smash pots and break plants.
Yeah, it feels
Which
really good.
You do a lot in Zelda, you do a lot in this, and you do a lot in a little game called Infernal Racket, previously known as Glassbreaker.
Shameless plugs.
Yeah, well, we talk about it almost every episode on GS.
But we always wait till the middle. Not on purpose, just because.
There's that neat jump pad there.
Yeah.
Lets you jump high if you stand on it.
So you can see here's one of these mini puzzles. You know, I could have made that jump. I definitely could have. I don't remember. I guess this was you playing, not me.
It might be me, yeah.
But
if it's bad, let's just say it's me.
Okay.
You're gonna be less embarrassed.
Oh yeah. It was definitely you then. Yeah. So you can see there's a lot of platforms that I could have made, could have explored around there a little bit, broken some other plants. Broken. And here we get to the beginning of the snowy level, which I got to and completed
Earlier today.
Earlier this week.
Earlier this week.
Yeah, not today. Not today.
A fortnight ago. It means 4 nights.
No, that's not what it means.
Oh.
Do you know what fortnight means? It's
leave it in the comments. Don't tell me. Just leave it in the comments.
All right. Do you want me to leave it in the comments?
Yeah.
I'll leave it in our own comments. I'll do that.
That'll be funny.
How about that?
That'll be really funny.
So all new enemies.
The video
here.
comes up and then Ed leaves the definition of Fortnite in the comments and no one knows what it's about because no one's watched the episode yet.
And I'll pin it so everybody sees it. So yeah, I see there's a treasure up there. The question is, how do you get it? The answer is, I don't know, actually. I don't remember. We might have to backtrack to the last screen? I'm not actually sure.
If this was a 3D game, you wouldn't be able to see it, but since it's a 2D game, they can tease you with all the treasures. They're all very easily viewable.
Yeah, they really do tease you. And you see those things and you're like, oh my god, I gotta get it. And you could spend a half an hour just on one screen trying to figure out how to get somewhere, you know? And there's some pretty tough jumps. There's some jumps that are not obvious because of the differences in height, you know? Because each of these platforms has a specific height. Kind of reminds me a little bit of like Final Fantasy Tactics had a system like that too, just a way of keeping track of the height of your characters. So if you were wondering, like if an attack would hit an enemy, depends on the height. That guy, that bull, oh my god.
He's a real jerk.
Yeah, this is, I don't think I was even under leveled here. I think I was appropriately leveled, and it's still just that hard.
Yeah, it's definitely not an easy game. something you actually have to pay attention to enemy patterns and learn how to play your character.
One of the few vendors in the game that just straight up sells you stuff. Oh yeah, there's also combat buffs, which is what these are. And they last for, it tells you in the bottom left there what they do, and if you hit the start button here, it'll show you, it'll give you a little tooltip and tell you what those icons mean. Like one of them is you regen health, one of them is attack up or defense up, you know? So I think I said that last time when we recorded this, and I didn't realize that there was a way to look at what they do. But everything in the game, I think, if you have a question about any stat or any item, there's always a way to figure out what it does. So anyway, enough about this vendor. So
Check it out, man.
Yeah, let's go ahead and start. All right, so 13 hours. It's kind of a lot. So part of that might have just been idling at some point.
Are we recording?
We are.
Oh. Hello. Welcome back.
Oh, look at this. It's a scary desert.
Oh, God. You didn't tell me that there would be scorpions.
Scorpions.
You should have warned me that there would be scorpions.
I should have, but I didn't.
There's one thing that triggers my disgust sensitivity. It's scorpions.
So here's the area that we were in just a few minutes ago. You can see this is also gigantic, and it houses the game's first dungeon, which we are not going to look at because...
Ed already beat it.
Well...
He beat it.
Yeah, but I was going to say, it's mostly puzzles, but it was gigantic. This is the dungeon.
Oh, also the world map in the game looks like a, what's called a mythical crab. Look up mythical crab tattoo if you want to see what I'm talking about.
It does,
mythical
doesn't it?
crab tattoo.
It is the coolest tattoo.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So what was this? Oh, yeah, this is the starting area. So anyway, what I would like to do is we can go to this village or we can play from here, which is I actually don't know what to do here. Want to do something brand new?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. So you can see there's still more plants to destroy.
These are unique plants, though.
And I'm afraid I have not fought these guys. I'm kind of afraid. All right, they're not so bad. They're not so bad at all.
Yeah, it's a mechanical stinger, so there's probably no poison in there.
Oh yeah, probably not. Oh yeah, one other thing I wanted to note is that there are combat ranks, so for as long as you stay in combat, you continue to get your rank increased. And the higher your rank, which you can see in the top right corner, if it gets up to rank A, you get, I guess, the best drops, you know, best item drops. But right now, just being ranked, oh, there we go, rank C.
Looks like you've got some kind of a fire element.
Oh, yeah, you haven't seen this before. So you can see up there in the top left corner, there's the fire element and then the neutral element.
Oh, I see.
So if we equip the fire element, that's of course one of the 4 elements that we'll be able to eventually use. I think only fire is in the game right now. By the way, I'm currently studying. Shakes head. Oh yeah, our character is mute, by the way. Part of the story. So I'm in this course that gives assignments.
Yeah, you learn phrases, though, as you go.
Yeah,
so, like,
yeah.
She can say why, I think hello and goodbye. And
Yeah, she could say her name. But yeah, just a couple things, 5 or 6 things. But there are a ton of those, like that dialogue that we just saw. There are millions of those little dialogues everywhere you go. So I think that's part of what keeps the game so not lifelike. What am I trying to say? It keeps it so immersive. It constantly reminds you of these characters and their personalities, you know. So even though you are a mute, you're like a mute, you know, like Chrono and Chrono Trigger or Mario and Mario RPG. You're the mute main character, but it doesn't feel like that. So I don't know how long we'll be able to stay in combat here. Not that long, turns out. But anyway, the point was, the fire elements, anytime you're using one of the elements, there is this bar will begin to fill up in the top left. You can see it, it's filling up right now, that picture of that flame. And then the edges of the screen to start to have that cool effect there. And if you overload, you are locked out of the elements for, I don't know, not long. There's a cooldown on them. So you don't want to spam them forever. Because, you know, they're more powerful than your normal attacks.
Right, okay, so it's more a level of that they're strictly powerful.
Yeah.
Strictly more powerful than a normal attack.
And you'll need them for puzzles.
Not just different.
Yeah, they're definitely, you know, enemies will have certain resistances and certain weaknesses. And I think that's the meat of it, you know. But like, for example, in the first dungeon, what the heck? You can jump on these? You can. In the first dungeon, there's a lot of blocks and a lot of things that you can interact with using only the fire version of your projectiles. And of course, there's lots of combat with
Do you light candles with them? Or light something?
You don't light candles. You can melt ice. There are ice blocks that are blocking your path.
Something like that.
Yeah, and they do some really creative things with established mechanics in this genre. Like I know block puzzles are like everyone's least favorite thing, but they managed to feel pretty unique in the game, especially because of the interactions with the elemental attacks and everything. Let's see. I just saw a treasure. Where was it? Was it up here? Yeah, this one. How do I get there? I think we can jump from here, right?
Yeah, that's probably going to be what you'd have to do.
But so then how do we get here? We have to jump from here? We have to jump from here, I think. So then the question is, how do we get up there? And the question is, okay, so we jump from there. We can jump from here, which means we have to... Usually this leads you to a way back. Looks like it dead ends here. So... Oh, wait, here we go. Here we go. We can get... Yeah. Okay, so if we go over here, that's a cave we can't go in just yet. Here we go. Okay, so cool. So we traced this route back. Now we can definitely get over there. So we jump up, we do a little long jumpy, break some plants, break. We can jump here, and then we can jump over here.
Plant breaker.
Plant breaker. And let's see here. We can make that, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. And alright. Tough sand. There was sand in that treasure chest. Is that somebody's idea of a joke? Can't get over there. Alright.
And the thing with having a complex crafting system is you need crafting items so you can throw tons of collectibles all over your world.
Yeah.
You're really not limited. If you have a game that's more simple, then you have to spread out the collectibles a little bit more sparsely because there's less of them. Again, maybe Mega Man X, I guess that's an old example, but...
Speaking of crafting materials, I mean, just a few minutes ago, earlier on in this video, you saw... We already took a look at the menu, and this is what I've gotten since then. These are all consumables, different things you can eat to give you different buffs. There's no reason to have this many things, but I like that there are. They all have interesting names and descriptions, and these are all the weapons.
And they buff different things?
Yeah, and they buff different things.
Yeah, it's a lot like an MMO.
Yeah, it feels like a single-player MMO, but not in the way that Final Fantasy XII feels like a single-player MMO. Because this is never like, I don't know, less than fully stimulating. It is always fully stimulating. Key items, okay.
I'm surprised we didn't mention Secret of Mana yet.
Yeah,
There's another comparison, though.
I think the reason is because I haven't played it that much. I haven't played that game as nearly enough. But I've played a lot of Chrono Trigger. Oh, yeah, so these platforms are a little bit different. They send you flying.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, those are really fun. The first time I found one of those, watch. I just went back and forth and back and forth. It's really fun. Looks real dumb, but man, it's fun. It's dumb to be like, oh, look how fun this is, you know? One of those things that you definitely have to play.
Yeah, that might not have been a smart idea.
No. Oh, I thought that was
it's
like
a desert shark.
I thought it was a bat or something. Nope, it was a desert shark.
There you go. He was weak to bullets.
His only weakness, in fact. It's actually... Oh my god.
That looks fun. It looks like it's gonna steal your shield.
Yeah, I know. Uh-oh. So, is he really weak to fire? Maybe not so much. Oh, maybe not so much.
Doesn't seem to be weak to anything. Oh,
no.
He was weak to that. That did a decent amount of damage.
Yeah, sorta. Yeah. But they have a lot of HP. You can see, like, he took 3/4 of my health away. Or close to it, at least. So even all this time later, after the first dungeon and a couple more exploration areas, the game is still pretty challenging. It's really easy to start a fight and to be killed in that same fight. And that can happen with pretty much any fight in the game, you know?
Whoa, they aggroed you?
They aggroed, yeah.
Oh
so
boy.
These guys will aggro you. Okay, I might die here. Definitely might die. Oh yeah, there's that weird effect you can see with that thing fading in and out. It's because it's above us. I don't know if you got that on the perspective or not.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we're walking under it now. A couple other places in the game where that happens too. So yeah, I'm attacking this guy with just my default attacks and nothing's happening, you know? Nothing. What a waste. We can try some of the arts. Oops. Let's try it again. Can I try it again? I have to recharge. We have to recharge. Oh, you know what? That's probably way too loud. Alright, see if I can do it again.
There you go.
Alright, yeah. So that breaks him, I guess, automatically. Cool. So let's see. I don't even know where we're going right now. I know where I'm supposed to be going, but I have no idea if it's close or not. Barren land. Toys Cave.
Probably turtles in there.
Probably. So yeah, if we're comparing this to the first area of the game, I expect this to be like 15 plus rooms. Yeah, rooms. And let's see, so far
we've... It's a good word for it. You could say layouts, maybe?
Yeah, layouts is good too, yeah. So far we've encountered what? This is a desert area. There's a, like I said, a snow area. There was a fall and autumn themed area. And the first dungeon was a mine. So it's got, you know, kind of runs the gamut. And there's all this stuff. Everything I'm running past right now, I would guess that 90% of it is optional. Stuff that you don't ever have to do, but you can, and you're going to be tempted to because it makes you curious. Like, if you're not going to at least stop and kind of take a look around and see what there is. Well, sure, you could beeline through the story, but don't you want to play the game? The answer is yes. So that's part of why, at least for me, the game has a really, really excellent sense of adventure, an excellent sense of drawing you in and getting you curious about the areas and showing you things. Like we saw that treasure chest up on a ledge earlier, but we didn't really exactly know how to get it. Oh, okay, so landmark. So we can fast travel whenever we want. Back here. Alright. So where else can we go? I would like to... Well, I guess we don't have to show the dungeon necessarily. I guess it's mostly empty now. But we can show this snow town, of which I probably spent at least an hour and a half just running around this town. And that sounds ridiculous. As you can see, it's only... Well, it's two layouts, really. 2 rooms, right? But again, they're gigantic. And they're also super dense. There are a couple things that I've tried to get and still haven't been able to figure out how to get. For example, you can get up on the rooftop here. And you can do this with pretty much any building in the town. And there are a couple ways that you can find other paths that might take you to secret treasures. And a lot of them are pretty hard to find, believe it or not. Just because there's so many of them and they're extremely well hidden within the architecture of the town, you know? Like say I wanted to get up to that golden chest there on the left. I actually wouldn't know how to do that right now. You probably have to come down from this screen.
Yeah, looks that way.
So yeah. So a lot of the good treasures, like the stuff that you really want to get, the stuff that's really enticing you, you see, and you're like, oh god, I want that. That stuff is going to require you to really spend some time looking around and trying to figure out exactly how you can get up there. And the whole game is built around that premise of jumping up and down to different heights, you know? And it's a real pleasure. It's, like I said before, it's really fun to just jump around, just to explore, because you never know. You can just land on a lower platform and suddenly find treasure, you know? You never know. Still the same town. And we barely seen any of it. Oh, also there's those guys. See the guy up there on the right? He kind of looks like Aang from Avatar.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a reference. There's another NPC in the game.
I saw a couple guys that look like that.
Yeah. It was, one of the NPCs in the game mentions, I don't know, fairly bluntly. Oh, there's this, okay, so this character gave us a quest. We can actually try this now. I think this would be fun to see. If you are, like I said, a completionist, you're going to get a lot out of the crafting system, but also, if you're diehard and you love challenges, this game is insanely hard, not just with combat, but also with the platforming. So this is a challenge that did I already do this one? I did one similar to it, but now it has the added challenge. Oops, the added challenge of it has to be done in 2 minutes.
Whoops.
And the first time I did a challenge like this, I think I spent 45 minutes on that challenge alone. Just platforming.
You got hit there on purpose to knock you back.
Well, no.
Faster.
I mean, yeah, of course.
That way, yeah.
So let's see, what else do I have to do? I hit the... Oh, okay. So here's a switch I have to hit with my bullets, and there's probably one down here. Yeah, okay, so I think this is the same as the first time. Only there's a time limit. So, and this gets extremely difficult later on. Wait, you can warp? Oh, no, 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 no. I don't want to go back. I want to go...
Oh, that's ice.
Yeah, but at least...
That's really hard.
Yeah, it starts you right here. You don't have to go back to the beginning. That would be maddening, you know? So it's like an obstacle course. Something that you can completely master, you know, given time and practice. Oops. And it's really fun. It's even though you're on slidey ice, it's really fun. Alright, let's try again. So we're not going to spend all day on this because, like I said, it took me the greater part of an hour to do it the first time. And that was without a time limit, so... Oh yeah, those always knock you off, it seems. Anyway, let's get out of here. Oops, I went back in. So anyway, Crosscode. It's in early access now, like I said at the beginning of the video. I think it's going to be out fairly soon, in, I don't know, hopefully less than a year, maybe 6 months down the line. I want to cover the game again when it comes out, because it is in early access now. There's a couple areas that we saw that you couldn't access. There are a couple features, couple quests, like for example, I have some quests that I cannot complete, not implemented yet, you know? But I think when the game eventually does launch, you know, the 1.0 version, it's gonna be, I hope it's a massive success. I think it already is on Steam. I think it's got a lot of positive reviews. I think it's kind of like word of mouth, you know? Kind of like Secrets of Grindia, at least for me. That game gave me a similar feel, you know? Like a feel of real adventure. So I guess we'll leave it there for now. Does that sound good to you, Joe?
That's about all. No, we should actually end it with we should thank Radical Fish Games and Atlessa in our Discord server. Check out our Discord server. We have donation links for Patreon and PayPal and the links below. I think that's about it, right?
Yeah, and check out Crosscode on Steam.
Yeah, check it out on Steam.
And thanks for watching.
That's about all. Peace out.